Welcome to Mystics and Mischief.
All things spooky and scary.
I'm your host, Barbara.
And I'm your host, Gloria.
Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
So you can join in the mischief too.
Yes.
Oh, we got it.
Yes. Yes, we got this. And today we're going to be talking about, in this episode, pets and their abilities. Not just pets, I guess animals in general could also be included. But mainly pets and their supernatural things that kind of have happened. My personal experiences, and I think I've talked about this before on a couple of episodes, was one when I was with my ex-husband, and we were living on post in the Midwest. He was still in the military, I was out. And when we were living, it's kind of a 2-story townhome. And this had to do with the cats. And we had our thermostat, and for some reason, and this was an old post. So this was like the oldest post, I don't know, what is it, west of the Mississippi or something like that. So there were a lot of hauntings that were known on that post. It was Fort Leavenworth, in case anybody wants to know. Haunted as hell. But one of our cats, GT, call him GT, would all of a sudden stare at the thermostat and start meowing like it was either bothering him or that someone was there. It was the weirdest thing. Almost like teasing a cat with a treat and you won't give it to him. It was kind of like that. You'd be staring up and be like, meow, meow. It was crazy and couldn't figure anything out. And I really honestly believe that he was seeing something. That was one thing that happened there. And I strongly believe that they can see spirits, but I also believe some other things as well. I'll talk about in a minute. But another thing that happened in that townhome, and I know I've talked about this before, was with our dog. Is a black lab, beautiful big baby, gentlest, loved everybody, was nice to everybody. So even if you were a stranger, he was good about picking up on our demeanor. So if we were comfortable with a person, he was happy with them. So, and he was always gentle. He was never one of those that would just go up and jump into or anything like that. He would, wag his tail, let them know that, yes, I'm friendly, and was kind of slow about it. But he would do that to everybody because we didn't really have anybody we didn't like in our townhome. But there was one time where my husband was at work and I was upstairs in the side room, right at the top of the stairs. So if you go up the stairs, there's an easement. Is that what it's called? Is that what it's called? An easement where there's a flat part and then it turns and the stairs continue? No.
I don't know the name of it.
Me neither. Anyways, there was one of those things. Go up the stairs, there's a flat part, you turn around, you go up the rest of the stairs. At the very top, there's a doorway, there's a room right there. That's the room I was in. And I was at the opposite end of the room playing a game on the computer, Sid Meier's Civilization, which is so addicting. And Taz, that was the name of our dog, was laying at the top of the stairs in front of the doorway, looking almost outward towards the stairs. But he was laying down with his head down, just chilling, when all of a sudden he starts to growl. And it was that growl that he's about to kill something. It's not a good feeling. The hair on his back just started to stand up. And at the same time, he started to slowly get up. He's got his head down. His back is coming up. And I'm thinking, I was so certain somebody broke in. Somebody is right there. And I was so scared to do anything. And then I was like, okay, but I had to find out because, again, little things had happened in that place. So I knew it could also be something kind of supernatural. But I had to know. I figured, okay, I can't remember if I grabbed anything as a possible weapon, but eventually I just went over there and I hurried up and I ran over there and I looked around the corner, nothing there. And the exact moment that I'm looking around there, I'm placing my hand on him, and he's like, I'm kind of going like this and putting my hand towards him because he was getting to the point that it was almost like he would think this dog is going to attack something. But he stopped like that. The moment I looked around the corner and saw there was nothing there on that flat part, there was nothing there, he stopped and he was fine. So it was like, whatever he, and then I thought, I ran downstairs. Then I'm thinking it's something supernatural. If it's something supernatural for me, I have to get certain validations of certain things. So then at that point, and this is all happening, when your brain's going at 1,000,000 miles per hour, that did that. Okay. Nothing's there. Hurry up, ran downstairs, ran around the whole bottom of floor because I'm thinking I have to make sure that nobody, if somebody's running out, an actual physical person, that I'm going to see them. But there was no way. I made it quick to where if anybody had broken in, I would have heard them or seen them. And there was neither of those. So that was a scary, scary time. Whatever he saw was bad. It had to have been bad because he was such a loving dog. And for him to do that, I'd never seen him do that again on anybody. Again, we've never brought anybody that we didn't like into that place. Nobody who was negative. So no idea what it was, but that freaked the hell out of me. And I've had other instances with cats in the past when I used to live in my parents' house doing the same thing, where they're looking at something. And I've seen some videos. I'm not gonna, I'll post a link to it. It's a longer video, but it was more like one of those videos on YouTube of the top or these 5 scary instances involving animals. Where unfortunately they weren't taking certain steps to validate it like I would have. Like, there's one of them where there's this dog and it's barking into an area that it like someone's there, but there's nothing there. And the girl filming and her mom was with her and everything. Her mom's thinking the dog is just crazy. It's freaking, it's just a spaz. But the girl's freaking out. And my whole thing is at that moment, I would have been like, turn on the light over there and look and see if there's anything like a bug or a moth or something that's flying around, teasing the shit out of this dog. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
things like that happen. It was like, do this and this. Knock out the obvious. Knock out the most probable if you're thinking it's something supernatural. And they didn't do that on a few of them, which was too bad because it would have been great. But there were a couple of other instances on that video that were pretty insane. The one of a dog that when the family died, they buried in the backyard and then they moved and coincidentally ran into the family that bought their house, knew nothing about them, but asked them, hey, do you know about this dog? It looks like this. And it was their dog that they were describing that died on that property. And they said, we keep seeing this almost holographic like image of this dog in the hallway, which that is like, oh my God, I'd be freaked out. But I strongly believe that, they go to the other side as well. And I think they have abilities here and there. My dog Daisy, she's sleeping, but I'm almost considering seeing if I can get her certified as a service animal. Just because whenever I am starting to, if I'm getting super depressed, like down to a low point, or I'm scared, or my anxiety is shooting through the roof, she's there almost, I swear, before I actually start to feel it.
Well, no, there's actual science behind that. So
Yeah.
dogs can sense those things before we know that they're going to happen. And that's why people use them for medical reasons. So you're not crazy. That's a legit thing. I'll have to look and see if I can find like a study about it. But I know there's multiple studies that prove that the dogs can sense something in us. Like, I don't know if we give off different like pheromones or whatever, and that they can sense before we can sense it ourselves. It's freaking fascinating.
See, that's what I have a feeling. I have a theory that because I know they used to say dogs don't see color, which is a supposed myth that they do, and that they. I just saw another video. I think we might be watching it where dogs can actually see ultraviolet light, but I really feel like because remember the mood rings used to have a mood ring and it changed depending on how you were
Yeah,
feeling. The color
yeah.
meant a certain thing. Like red was love, you know. Our auras are kind of like that, and I really believe that she can see the auras. Like they can sense the auras, and in those auras, our auras that we're given off, just like the mood ring, it gives off our feelings, whether they're pheromones or whatnot. If they're seeing certain lights to an extent that we can't, what's to say that they're not seeing something on our aura that gives it off before when it changes before we even know it.
Well,
I really think he is.
I don't know if it's the aura, but they can sense things because there's a reason why, we all listen to our dog, right? Like you can be out with your dog and if your dog starts acting weird, first thing you're gonna do is like pick up try to figure out what they're looking at, right? Because I have really nice dogs for the most part, but if they don't like someone, I automatically don't like them either. Because dogs can sense things that we can't. And you know how we all have like that sixth sense, right? Like we can tell usually if there's someone is trying to do something bad or if they have like um like ill intentions, right?
Yeah.
I think dogs are just so much better at picking that up than we are because sometimes we might be like, oh no, that person's attractive, and that changes our perspective, right? Or like they know someone that we know, so that makes us change our perspective. But dogs aren't like that. Dogs are gonna just fully sense exactly what it is that they're sensing. I don't know the science behind it, but I know there is something, and that's why I always listen to my dog. And the funny thing though is I'll listen to specific dogs because my little one just doesn't like anybody, so he doesn't count. But like my older dogs, when they don't like someone and they're like really good people dogs, I automatically it's like a no. It's like no. If my dog doesn't like you, you're not coming near
Wow.
my house.
Yeah.
Like I don't trust you at all.
Yeah. They and to me that's what I keep thinking though, that they're seeing something beyond whether it's pheromones, but what if they can see our pheromones? If they can see ultraviolet light, what if they can, you know what I mean? The lighting. I think we're going to be watching the video actually. It might be the same video. Where in dogs, like an animal's patterns, like a dog, like a tiger's, stripes, how it looks, the coloring looks to us may look different to them.
Yeah, yeah. So dogs do see color. They just don't see the entire spectrum of color that we do. I think it's reds. I don't think they can see red. I don't remember what other colors it is, but I'm pretty sure red's one of them because I think they mainly see in like blues and yellows, if I'm not
Ooh.
mistaken. So they do see color. They just don't see the entire spectrum.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to look at any books that have the science behind it. Um, but yeah, those are my experiences. And I know you don't have a whole lot, but you have experiences too, right?
I do, and I did just look it up. So they see blues, yellows, and shades of gray and brown.
Okay.
So those are the colors that they can see. Yeah, I do have some experiences with it. So when it comes to like my own animals, like I said, if they're growling at something, I automatically am gonna be like, "What's happening?" But when my daughter was first, actually, this started before my daughter was even born. So my very first house that I bought was in Tracy, California, and it was like slightly remodeled, not like great or whatever, but I had my dog Precious. She was a pit bull, and she loved everybody and everything. But she didn't like raccoons and like other like
Yeah.
animals, right? And so when we first moved there, she would be like really happy, and then out of nowhere, she would just stop in our living room and stare at the very top corner of like the room. And so our first thought was, oh, maybe there's a raccoon in there or like a squirrel or like, I don't know. We're new to this house. We just figured it had to be some kind of animal. So we figured she would stop doing it once that animal left. Well, she did this religiously for like weeks, weeks. She would be fine, and then out of nowhere, she would stop and she would look up there and she would just start growling. Like you said, like hair up and everything,
Yeah.
growling. She wanted to attack something. And then finally it started to freak us out. We were like, what the heck?
Oh
Why
yeah.
does she keep doing that? And eventually, so my ex-husband was like, well, there's a crawl space on the other side of that that corner where she was looking, because right on the other side of that was the garage. So we were like, let's go to the crawl space. So we ended up opening the top. It was like a little hatch, and he crawled up there, and we found jars of, I don't know what, that had like a bunch of different stuff in it. And then there was a pentagram and candles. So somebody before we moved in was doing some kind of brujeria or like witchcraft in that crawl space, which was crazy because it was not that tall, like for someone to be up there. But yeah, it was like a whole setup. And so we ended up removing all of that, and she stopped growling at the corner. She never did it anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really trippy because I was like, oh, so there really was something there. It wasn't a raccoon. It was not
No,
what we
this was
expected,
yeah.
but yeah. And we ended up just throwing everything away, which now that I'm more into spiritual thing, I'm surprised that we didn't like make it worse. But we did end up seeing, or when I had my daughter, she ended up seeing a woman in my house. Like she used to see a woman all the time. And we weren't worried about it because the dog didn't like really react to it.
Hmm.
So we figured out there's something there that's weird. But then we didn't really like care too much about it because the dog was chill about it. My daughter wasn't scared with
Yeah.
it, but I do remember that. I was like, I wonder if that's what caused that because we're over here like moving stuff. Maybe that was some kind of protective barrier that we're all like, let's just move that out of here. Like, we don't need that. But
Yeah.
yeah, the dog would do that. And then the only other like incidences that I have like with animals is seeing an animal like on the road like really late at night where the animal looks like it shouldn't be there or the animal's ridiculously beautiful. Like when I moved here, I live really far out, so I had to go on this like it's almost like a bridge kind of thing over the river. And right around that area, there was this dog outside, and it was late. And there was something about this dog that was it was just so pretty. Like it looked like it belonged in one of those freaking magazines. It was the most prettiest
Oh.
dog ever, and it was like a whitish gray, right? And it
Mm.
looked kind of like almost like a mixture of a husky and a shepherd,
Are
somewhere
you
in there.
sure it wasn't a wolf?
We
Yeah,
don't
wolf.
I'm pretty sure we don't have wolves out here, but it looked close to that. Like if you throw all those things together, that's
Wow.
kind of what it looked like. But the dog was gorgeous. And I had this overwhelming feeling of wanting to get out of my car and go and go up to the dog. And it was that weird feeling that made me be like, I probably should not go up to this dog. Because usually, like, I'll get out of my car and like help a dog out. Like, if I see a dog scrounging
Yeah.
around, I'm like, I don't want it to get hit. Like, I'll go and get him. But it's a different feeling. This dog was almost mesmerizing.
What
Where
if
I
it was
was
a
just like, oh
seizure?
my god, like, what is this dog? Like, there's no way it's that beautiful. And so I ended up leaving. And what's crazy is just recently, my son was with his friend and his friend's aunt, and they saw something very similar. And he or one of them wanted to get out and also pet the dog. The dog was very mesmerizing. And then the aunt was very terrified and she sped off. And so like and it's close to the same area. And I was like, I wonder, is there really a dog here or is this dog just like I don't know. I don't know.
Scared of
It's really
something.
weird. But I hear stories like that often. Um and I also had something similar happen when I lived in California. But like this is the most recent one and it was so pretty.
Oh
So
my
pretty.
God.
Like super like mesmerizing. Like it made you want to just be like, hey dog, let me pull over and come in my car. Like, I don't know, it's just really
Yeah.
weird. It was a very weird feeling.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but to have like almost like a reassurance that other people have also seen something
Yeah.
similar in around the same area and have the same feeling of, oh my God, I need to get out and meet this dog. It made me a little like, I guess not happy. That's probably not the best word, but like it just reassured
Validated.
me that I was not insane with how I felt about this dog. So that dog was so, I don't know, it didn't feel like a regular dog.
Oh my God, that's crazy. What if it was a skinwalker?
That's what my son said. So
It's
I don't know.
mesmerizing. It's becoming mesmerizing to try and get somebody.
Maybe, like maybe, and that is something that people say is out here. Like we're
Yeah.
in the middle of like like it's not just Navajo. There's so many different. There's Apache. Uh, oh God, what were the other ones? There's a bunch out here, different tribes. in this area. So
Could be.
possible.
Oh my gosh. Man, I wish you need to get a dash cam. Okay.
I really should, bro. Living out here, I really should, because sometimes you see some weird stuff. Like
I
we've
know.
seen lights in the sky. We've seen like my daughter's seen orbs. I've seen like these weird
Yeah.
like multicolored, I don't know what the heck they are. And then when I'm just staring at it, it just disappears. And I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna go home because I don't know what that was about.
Yeah. Get a
But
dash.
yeah,
Like,
there's a
oh my
lot.
God. My brain's going like I can kind of picture it and been like, I probably would have been a dumb idiot and gotten out of the car.
And no, that's the thing. I do that. Like, and like I go out
At
and
this
I
point.
I be grabbing dogs all the time. And I'll be like, oh, I found this dog. Let me go take it to the shelter, or let me bring this dog home and see if it needs anything. Like I do that. So the fact that like this dog made me feel so different, I was like, I probably should not get out of the car. I should not get this dog.
Wow. That is something, man. That
Yeah.
is great. That is this creepy, but also I almost wish I could have experienced it.
Yeah, I tell you, you need to come out here because some weird stuff happens out here all the time. All the time.
Ugh. And I was gonna go down there before I broke my leg.
I know.
Down
It's
there.
okay.
Oh my God,
We'll
that's
shoot for
awesome.
next year.
So I have some videos and we're gonna try and bring it in here and it should allow me to. This first one is on the story about a cat. Let me see if I can bring it out. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. Okay. Oops. I probably just messed that up. Oh no, here we go. Okay.
Today, cats are thought of more as pampered pets than as primal hunters. Unlike dogs, they resist training and behave more as if they are not your pet, but that you are theirs. Nevertheless, the bond between cats and humans has proven to be stronger and more astounding than previously thought, especially when examining their eerie ability to track down their human owners across hundreds of miles.
There was this case in 1949. The cat's name was Clementine Jones. The family moved from Western New York to Denver. They couldn't take the cat with them. They left the cat with some friends, and they got a call a while later that the cat had disappeared. 4 months later, this cat showed up at their door. It was their cat. That's a 1,600-mile commute for that cat.
1,600 miles in 4 months? It seems nothing short of miraculous. And yet, there have long been stories of cats traversing vast distances, and we don't know how they do it.
When I think of a story where a cat has traveled an incredible distance in order to go from point A to point B, lots of questions come to mind for me as a scientist. Is there a scent trail essentially that they're following that allows them to navigate that space? And do they have that ability to create that mental map?
We know cats potentially have other types of navigational capacities too that we don't even know about, that sort of harken back to their ancient ancestors who maybe need to roam great distances in order to hunt, for example, and home their way back to their den.
Some people posit that cats are somehow tuned into the electromagnetic field of the earth that birds use for navigation.
There are all sorts of theories. The magnetism one's the most popular, but that can't explain it. If you were given a compass and taken to a place you'd never been before, the compass would tell you where north was, but it wouldn't tell you where home was. So homing animals, including this cat, require more than a magnetic or compass sense.
We think the animal is using their ESP to trail where the family actually went to. That's called psi trailing. Psi is the catch-all term we use for any psychic experience. Psi trailing typically happens where there's an animal that has a real close connection with the family. And it's possible that the animal saw the path in front of her and followed that path.
There's a lot of unknowns around cats. Is there a psychic connection that exists between cats and their owners, and there's a magnetism that's there that's drawing that cat in? It's entirely possible.
Until cats can talk to us themselves, we may never know exactly what lies behind their eyes. Perhaps it's time to rethink our place in the natural order of things.
So that was the first video, which is insane. 1,600 miles.
That is crazy. I love that they brought up magnetism and like the psychic abilities, because those were the two things that I initially thought of when I first heard of that. I know they say like the magnetism wouldn't work because then they don't know where, like, it would tell you like north or whatever, like a compass, right? But then if you mix that with the psychic abilities, I don't know if you've ever seen like those illustrations where it shows how like people can have a almost like a energetic connection, right? That's why when you think of somebody, then the other person somehow knows about it or feels the same feelings or thoughts or whatever. I feel like if it's possible for people, like it's probably more possible for cats. You know, there's probably a reason why they look at cats as like the animal of the underworld, right? Like they're such spiritually known animals. So my thought, and I have no science to back this, so just to be clear, I'm just throwing stuff out there. So my thought is that if they do have that way, like that magnetism, like birds, and then you mix that with the ability to sense energies from, you know, their person, then it would make sense that they can find their way home.
Yeah. Which makes me miss certain pets and being like, how come they didn't come back?
Cat's probably like, that's too far.
Somebody probably stole them and kept them. Yeah. So I really liked that video. That was pretty cool. And this next one is, and that video, all these videos will be, when this gets released, there'll be a link to these videos. That was from the History Channel. This next one is Incredible Things Only Dogs Can See and Hear. 10 Supernatural Abilities Explained. I like this one. This one's a little bit longer. It's 7 minutes, but it's pretty interesting. So let me get in here. Here we go.
If you've ever seen your dog barking at an empty space and wondered what they're seeing, the answer might be stranger than you think. Dogs have extremely sharp senses, far beyond what we can perceive. Today, we're going to explore 10 incredible abilities that explain why dogs react to things that seem non existent to us. And the last one, well, it might make you a little uneasy. 1. Dogs can see ultraviolet light. The idea that dogs see only in black and white is a myth. They have the ability to detect ultraviolet, UV light, which means they can see patterns and colors that are invisible to us. For a dog, flower petals may appear as bright signals, and certain markings on animals can be seen in a completely different way. This special vision also helps them detect traces of urine or old markings left by other animals, giving them a much more detailed perception of the world than we have. If your dog seems obsessed with something you can't see, they might be picking up details that are only visible under UV light. 2. Dogs have incredible night vision. If you've noticed that your dog moves around in the dark without hesitation, there's a reason for that. Dogs have a special structure in their eyes called tapetum lucidum, which reflects light inside the eye and improves their vision in low light environments. Additionally, they have more light sensitive cells than humans, allowing them to see movements with greater precision in the dark. This helps them detect animals and objects easily while we can barely see a few inches ahead. While you're stumbling around in a dark room, your dog already knows exactly where to step. 3. Dogs can sense changes in atmospheric pressure. Your dog might be able to predict weather changes before you even realize it. Before a storm, hurricane, or even an earthquake, atmospheric pressure shifts drastically. Dogs can feel these variations through their skin and inner ears, which can make them restless and anxious. If your dog suddenly starts hiding, acting strangely, or showing signs of nervousness without any apparent reason, they might be sensing a shift in the air that you haven't noticed yet. Pay attention to this behavior. Your dog could be a natural warning system for upcoming weather changes. 4. Dogs hear sounds you would never notice. Many times, it seems like dogs react to nothing, but the truth is they hear sounds we could never perceive. Dogs can pick up on frequencies much higher than human hearing, detecting subtle noises like the distant calls of animals or the hum of electronic devices. This also explains why fireworks and thunderstorms can be so terrifying for them. The sounds are much more intense and piercing to dogs than they are to us. If your dog seems scared or alert for no apparent reason, it might be because they're hearing something you simply cannot detect. If you love dogs as much as we do, then you're in the right place. Subscribe to the channel to follow our daily tips. 5. Dogs can predict medical crises. It sounds like something out of a movie, but it's real. Dogs trained for medical assistance can predict epileptic seizures, drops in blood sugar for diabetics, and even heart attacks before they happen. This happens because they can detect subtle changes in body odor, breathing, and heart rate. And the most incredible part? Even dogs that haven't been specifically trained for this can sometimes show this instinct. If your dog suddenly starts acting insistently around you without any apparent reason, they might be sensing something about your health before you even realize it. 6. Your dog notices every small movement. You make dogs don't just see our movements, they analyze every tiny detail of our behavior. They have a specialized brain capacity that allows them to detect subtle changes in posture, facial expressions, and even how we blink. This makes them experts at interpreting body language, which is why they seem to know when we're about to leave, even before we grab our keys. If your dog seems to know exactly what you're going to do before you act, it's because they're picking up on signals so subtle that you don't even realize you're giving them. 7. Dogs smell things you could never imagine. A dog's sense of smell is up to 1,000,000 times more powerful than ours. They can detect pheromones that indicate fear, aggression, and even attraction in both animals and humans. This explains why they react differently to certain strangers. They are literally smelling that person's emotions. Dogs can also pick up on changes in the human body, such as stress, pregnancy, and even illnesses. If you want to strengthen your bond with your dog, let them explore their environment through smell. It's how they truly understand the world. 8. Dogs can sense your body heat. From a distance, dogs have heat sensors in their noses that allow them to detect warmth radiating from people, animals, and objects. This ability, inherited from their hunting ancestors, allows them to identify warm-blooded prey, even in low visibility conditions. Additionally, dogs can perceive temperature changes in humans, which may explain why they stay close to you when you're feeling sick. If your dog likes to sleep next to you, they might not just be showing affection. They could be instinctively seeking warmth and comfort, just as they would in a pack in the wild. 9. Your dog knows exactly how you feel. Dogs are true emotional mirrors. They can detect changes in your tone of voice, posture, and even in your scent when you're anxious, happy, or sad. This explains why some dogs try to comfort their owners when they're feeling down and why they get extra excited when they sense you're in a good mood. Your dog doesn't need you to tell them how you feel. They already know just by observing and sensing your presence. 10. Dogs and the supernatural. Fact or fiction? Can dogs really sense ghosts, or is it just our imagination? Although there's no scientific proof, many pet owners report that their dogs react to things they themselves cannot see. If your dog suddenly starts growling, barking, or staring at an empty corner, they might be detecting something you can't explain. If this behavior gives you chills, trust your dog's instincts. And maybe keep the lights on. Dogs experience a world completely different from ours, filled with invisible scents, unheard sounds, and details that go completely unnoticed by us. So, next time your dog barks at what seems to be nothing, stop and pay attention. They might be trying to show you something that only they can perceive. If you've ever seen your
And that last one reminded me of my dog Precious staring at the corner.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I don't agree with some of there's no scientific proof. I think there's more and more coming out that shows that. And what you were saying about the pheromones and stuff, they hit on that too. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. But
That
yep.
explains though why they're so good at sensing when a person is not good. Like they have so many other abilities that I wasn't even aware of.
Yeah.
So it'd be kind of cool to sense like how it is to see the world like a dog.
Oh my God. If we can be reincarnated as a dog and I haven't done it yet, I'm totally doing it.
I don't know, man.
What kind of
It
dog
has
would
to
you
be like a dog that's like pampered.
Yeah, that's what I mean. What kind of dog would you choose?
I'm not trying to be outside looking for food, bro. You know I like to eat. I want it to be handed to me.
So you're gonna be like a what was it, little Pomeranian or
No, I want to be like something cool though, like a Doberman, but like a pampered one. So I could be like pampered and like awesome at the same time.
I want to be held like I want to be a little teacup dog. That's
Oh
pampered
no,
as well.
I'd be scared.
No,
I'd
I'm
probably
gonna be
come
that
back
little
as a
dog with a big bark.
chihuahua. All feisty
No.
like I am now.
Yeah. Oh my God. But yeah, so those were a couple of videos I found really interesting. Those both have links. The third one I talked about, it's a lot longer. It's like 20 some minutes, I think, but we're not going to watch that one here, but I'll include a link on it. That one was more of the supernatural kind of thing. The ones where there were 5 different videos of, supposedly the dogs seeing something that was there. But again, if anybody, you watch those videos, go to the link and you can see what I mean when I was saying it's unfortunate they didn't take certain steps to validate that it was more than likely something supernatural as opposed to something, in the present, like physical form, like a moth or something like that.
I'm still stuck on that fact that they said that dogs can sense up to 1,000,000 times better than us. That's insane.
Yeah. Right?
That's really cool.
And their tracking abilities when they use that smell. That explains a lot. But they said, I think they showed it when there was like the picture of the pug, whatever. And I'm like, I don't know. I've never seen a pug tracking dog, but I guess.
They have that scrunchy nose. I don't know if they smell as good as the other dogs.
They got a lot of breathing problems.
And I wonder if it's like breed specific because they say hounds can smell better than anybody or any dog, right? So
yeah,
I wonder if it's like a hound that's 1,000,000 times or like a bunch of them can smell at 1,000,000 times more than us.
Maybe.
But next week we're gonna do extra research because there's like so many cool little animal facts.
This could be a topic we can come back to and especially look at videos of maybe supernatural videos. But that was it. That's all I have for this episode. Was there anything you wanted to add?
No, just the dogs are cool.
Yes.
They're so much cooler than people.
No, I do miss having a cat. Like I was thinking about getting a cat.
I always want a cat. And every time I go, I come back with a dog. So I stopped trying to get a cat. I've tried 3 separate times to get a freaking cat. And I go to the shelter and what do? I come back with a dog.
Oh my God. You can't help it, right? You got to go.
I really can't. They're
go
so
with your
cute.
instincts, which will be discussed in the science book episode.
Right?
Okay. That concludes. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please hit the like button so that we know. If you have any comments, please let us know. If you have any stories or any weird occurrences that you believe, your pet might have seen something or their abilities, and then let us know in the comments.
Definitely let us know so that way we can talk about it in the next episode.
Yes, please. And we'll see you again.
That was bye.